podcast because, not podcast, whatever the hell you call this. This is take two because it won't let me turn it sideways, where I can hold it very easily in my steering wheel. But I mean, why don't you just be stupid? If you belong to Google, why not just be stupid? Should anyone trust that Google's ever going to change? And when they shut it down, maybe. Watch how easily nothing happens here. This has nothing to do with religion, except it will get religious. This really isn't about politics, but it is entirely driven by political agenda. My own bias, which that's just part of human nature. I'm sick and tired of trying to look at things that try to tell you they're just reporting the facts with no opinions. That's horseshit, okay? If you are reporting the facts, just give me the numbers. Just give me the numbers. Everything else has opinion railing through it. That's just what it means to be a human being. So anyway, this is long overdue, but this is a discussion about what you should never listen to. IGN, I don't even know what the hell the other ones are, but they're all these big reporters of news in the gaming world are the same people that like got that stupid Gamergate thing going when it was like about some chick and some dude. It doesn't even friggin' matter. It doesn't matter. It is gossip related to the industry. It is people like me commenting on the people that make and the people that do. When you're a commentator, you are not a reporter. You are just a commentator. Now, there is so much agenda that is like littered throughout most of media now. That's just, I have a story to say, and you just need to fill in the blanks with bits and snippets of reality. When you're old enough to remember how reality television worked, when reality television ruined MTV, when they decided that their demographic was no longer music listening people on a music channel, and they just gave over to more women watch gossip TV, so let us make gossip TV. If you have a reality, there is no script. There is no script with reality. If you choose to insert a script, you have lost reality. Now, that is not to say do not have a list of to-dos, to-bes, to-becomes. Don't lose sight of who you want to be. But you should never just think that life in reality exists as a script. Nobody's a construct. Everybody has some unique purpose. So let's talk tariff. Let's talk $4.99, $80. This is like not new, right? Like this didn't just happen. Like this is long overdue, but there's some recent additions to this. Did anybody notice how when all the tariffs changed, the price of the Switch 2 did not change? Did you see them just change their mind and like, oh, okay, so now since the tariffs are mainly against China, now we can reduce the price. This guy needs to turn his lights on. Stoner. No lights. Didn't get the message either. Thumbs down driving. No lights. No lights. Driving into the dark. Did they change the price? Did Nintendo of America, did anybody make an announcement like, okay, so now since Trump is changing the tariffs, so now we're going to actually release the pre-orders? No. Why? Because the entire story was bullshit, right? It was bullshit driven by bullshit people that buy into bullshit narratives. Anybody that saw the trends that said that they were holding pre-orders because of Trump's unsure tariff whatevers. Bullshit. Okay? That's just how that happens. So again, since there's actually somebody watching, this is not a religious feed. This is about Nintendo. There are other religious things that I talk about. It is Spy Wednesday. This is not necessarily a political live stream, though it is extremely political because we all have a political bias. And my issue is with what you should never be listening to, regardless of what media it is. Like, don't even listen to me. Don't listen to me. That's a great idea. Go live your life. Go be outside. Go work. Go do what you need to do so that you can collect your own video games. But if you subscribe to the same philosophy of life, just know that narrative exists everywhere. Gamergate was a narrative. That chick was trying to get back at somebody because that's what so many women in power do. They're trying to get back at the man. And, you know, like, all of that crap that happened is because guys that were in there, I don't even care. Like, the point is it was a narrative. And there was a lot of bullshit around the narrative that people pick up and run with. Like, I was talking MTV before the guy with no lights came by. MTV used to be about music. Then they insisted that their, you know, like, demographic was now reality television. And yet, every reality show, Road Rules, Jersey Shore, all that other, none of it had anything to do with reality. That is not reality. That is a script. And even though, like I said, you need to work on your own reality, and you need to have like a to-do list, a to-be list, it doesn't mean that life exists like that. Like the narrative that they were pushing, and that they're still not done trying to ramrod, is, oh, this Maryland dad just doesn't belong in El Salvador. Bullshit. Okay? The tariffs. We're going to hold up pre-orders. Bullshit. That is not had nothing to do with why Nintendo has decided. I mean, they made Tears of the Kingdom a $69.99 release. And why did they do that? Because Nintendo pushes the envelope on most of the price points in the gaming industry. Nintendo is still very much leading the way. In some ways, during the Wii U era, they found ways to still lead from behind. But the prototype that they created for the Switch, the original Switch, they had to merge 3DS sales and Wii sales. So they created a prototype, and as they were starting to make it work, people bought it because it was backwards compatible, because Breath of the Wild was coming out for it. But as they started to move forward on it, they're like, we need to do more. We need to separate these controllers like we did with the Wii. We need to give it the portability that the 3DS had. We needed to do all those things that prototype time. However, they were still leading the industry. They were still deciding all the things. Now, they created PlayStation. Anybody that doesn't know that history, Nintendo, by their greed, created the Sony PlayStation. It was originally the Nintendo PlayStation. When you're old and fat like me, you know these stories. But let's go back to the narrative. Why is the console Switch 2 $4.99? Why are they pushing Mario Kart for $79.99? You don't really have to look too much farther than like the 2K games. Why are all the packages and the bundles and all these other extra things that come with like extra players and skins and all this horse shit? Why are they charging like $120 for some of that stuff? And it's for one reason. People buy it. People buy it. If nobody bought it, nobody would sell it for that. Why does your iPhone cost over $1,000? Why? Because you're on it. Why did Android follow suit and start selling phones with no internal removable batteries? Because you're on it. Because you bought it. Why did they ever think that they could get away with a $999 phone and then just push the envelope? Why do we have gasoline that we have to flirt with $3 or $4, depending on how socialist your state is? Why do we have to flirt with those prices? Because we don't want to walk to work. The buying power of us is the narrative that you give to them. I'm not saying like everybody else is, not everybody, but the people that are pushing this, hey, don't buy it. There is nothing that you can do to keep people from buying Nintendo Switch 2. You're not going to stop them from doing it. I don't know why people stop using the chat. There's nothing you can do to stop people from buying the Switch 2. It's not going to happen. They have nothing to do with him. They have everything to do with the fact that Nintendo will continue to make money. Why are they, my opinion, why is Nintendo, this is my opinion, why is Nintendo charging $79.99 for Mario Kart Tour, whatever it is, World Tour? Because Mario Kart 8, which was a port, basically, with some special edition features, because Mario Kart 8 is still the best-selling Switch original game. Why did they release Tears of the Kingdom for $79.99? Because people bought it. Amway used to sell soap. They still do, I think. They asked the guy all the way back in the 60s and 70s, can you tell me why the Amway Corporation decided to sell soap? And one of the founders, it was two guys, Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel. I think it might have been in the 80s when they finally, because they were trying to get away from the idea that, hey, it's soap. It's a soap business. They built a multi-billion-dollar company selling soap. Can you tell me why you guys chose to market soap? The most profound answer that you could ever imagine is why it was a multi-billion-dollar company and why Nintendo continues to succeed. Why did y'all choose to market soap? Because people buy it. Why was Tears of the Kingdom $69.99? Why is that price point if you didn't use the Switch tickets, which you needed to pay the yearly subscription of $49.99? Like Nintendo Switch was the first, well, no, okay, so yeah. But Nintendo Switch pretty much became the first paid Nintendo's subscription for online, which they said, you know, Xbox was the first paid. Then PlayStation Network followed suit, and then Nintendo sort of became, but Nintendo still created that beast. It was still Nintendo that decided it. So why was Tears of the Kingdom $69.99? Why is Mario Kart World Tour $79.99? Because people buy it. You can try to hold out, but you know as good as I do that even though it's just an opinion, people are going to buy it. And it's almost like the same reason why people buy a bunch of Nike shoes and put them on a friggin' shelf and never wear them, and like are so afraid to get anything on them. Why the hell do you buy a pair of shoes you don't wear? Why would you buy shoes you don't wear? Why would you buy video games you don't play? I mean, I do that all the time. My Steam list has probably 80-something games. I don't even have a computer that can play the Steam list. And, you know, if the sale's good enough, I might actually pick up something for like 89 cents or something. Because people buy it. But the tariffs have nothing to do with why Nintendo is charging what they're charging. it is much more likely to assert that Davos, and ESG, which became DEI, which is now like, the new banking way that President Trump is trying to fight against. Davos is almost 100% to thank for why is Switch $4.99. The World Economic Forum has a lot more latitude on pricing points than a tariff that's designed to try to push back. And if you don't know what the World Economic Forum is, you literally have been under a rock. And the rock that you've been stuck underneath is all the narratives that, Nintendo pushed back against Trump. Bullshit. If you look at Dragon Quest sales, always have done way better in America. Nintendo's decisions to do what they do, even though it's Japanese origin, still is mostly America driven. They want to sell to as many Americans as possible. And it's only because Davos can try to paint this new narrative that America needs to pay up. And we need to establish a new great reset. I don't know that Mario Kart World Tour will be the first Nintendo Switch 2 game that I buy. Most likely, I'll buy the upgrades so that I can use my phone, which I paid too much for, to do the Kurok seed, so I can get all, 927 or whatever it is in my $69.99 game, which I'm going to pay. My guess is the upgrade pass for the Switch 2 is still going to be close to $30. You're going to pay $30. That's my guess. $29.99. I want to be wrong on that. I'm going to say $29.99 is how much they're going to get you to pay for the upgraded features on a game you already paid a lot for. Is $80 worth it? I don't think so. But that's because I'm tired of getting my ass kicked in Mario Kart. But if a brand new Zelda title, which nobody's talked about at all, there's no discussions in the works, would it be worth $80? I think so. How about finally getting Metroid Prime 4, which is now Beyond? Is that worth $79.99? I think so. What if they add a shooter feature that makes it like the DS one, where it actually has online shooting mini games or something? I would think that would make it worth it, even though you're going to have to pay for Switch's price, like the Switch online, whatever they call that. So, again, the narrative from IGN, the narrative, this Maryland dad, that's media spin. And it's media spin for no other reason to get clicks. Because it would be nice if the truth spread faster than lies. But on Spy Wednesday, it's pretty important to remember the devil knows the best way to try to get people to think that Jesus Christ is not Lord is to say, just say they stole his body and said he rose from the dead. That's the narrative that we're hearing. That's what you should believe when you see, it's the tariffs. It's the tariffs that delayed the pre-orders. No. What delayed the pre-orders is, shit, people are actually going to pay $500 for this thing? We still don't have enough. We thought that people were going to be, angry enough that they might actually have to save their money. No, people buy on credit with money they ain't got to impress people they don't like. So people are just going nuts. And the scalpers need to be taken care of. That's another reason why. these prices they get away with these prices. So stop it. If you're gonna listen to IGN and the like, fuck them. There's no reason to believe that they know what the hell they're talking about. No reason. All right, that's enough.